I have made a severe lapse in my judgment. I'd like to apologize in advance. My window is open, so if you hear any sirens or gunshots or booms or anything cool, that is why. Because I live in a dark neighborhood. No, I don't. I live in a very nice neighborhood. I live next to a dark neighborhood. Yeah, I probably should have figured this out before I started talking, but that's okay. That's okay. Just hear the creaks and the grossness that is the spit building up in my mouth. Oh my gosh. I was going to do mouth stretching exercises before this, which I'm doing right now. Okay. Now, I do understand that the idea of mouth stretching exercises sounds quite sus now that I think about it, but that's okay. Yeah, quite sus. Happy New Year. It is January 11th. This is the second podcast of the new year. But you're thinking, but this is the first upload of the new year. How is this the second podcast in there? Yeah, I have another one on the family channel, which is hidden. So the family channel has the upload of me and my grandpa. Wow. Wow, me and my grandpa. So cool. Now, me and my grandpa, let me tell you. So me and my grandpa, we go out and no one thinks like I was gonna post those on this one as well, but both the one with my pops, not my dad, my pops, that one, and the one with my grandpa both got way too personal to post on here. So just for the family archives, I guess. Just for the family archives is where it's gonna be. Yeah. Well, you see, I put them on the family archive. You know what I'm saying? I got out of a really hot shower. I don't know why I said it like that, but I got out of a really hot shower, man. Oh my gosh. Hot shower. And I was going to do a video version of this episode, but that would mean I'd have to put some more clothes on. And I don't know if I want to do a video version yet because, for one, I don't know if I have an hour of space footage on my phone, and then two, I don't know if I have the camera presence for that. So, yeah. So we're not doing it that way for some time. I need to buy a camera that is able to do that. But I do want a 2-camera setup. If I get the 2-camera setup, it'll be great. It'll be awesome. But yeah, so Happy New Year. Second podcast. Any New Year's resolutions this year, you might ask? I don't have any New Year's resolutions. There is something I have started to do in the last 4 days, though. Would you like to know what it is? Oh my gosh, it is writing. Oh my gosh, I am a screenwriter. Oh my gosh. Can I say oh my gosh one more time? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you just said it again. No, it's not that kind of writing. At the end of the day, well, maybe I should preface this with some more context. So here's the context for you guys. The context. That was a Mr. Fruit reference if you guys watch that channel, which you don't because no one I know watches that channel. No one I know knows who Mr. Fruit is. Just this little corner of YouTube. A corner of YouTube. Okay. So here's the context, okay? What was I even writing? I was writing something. I remember what it was. Man, I just heard all those mouth clicks. I'm so sorry about that. Listen to me. I am so sorry about the mouth clicks. I don't know if that was worth that. Oh my gosh, my mouth. Jeez. Dry mouth. That's for you guys, okay? That's all so you don't die to my mouth noises, mostly me, because I'm going to be the one listening to these later. But so here's the context. My beautiful little sister, Madeline, got me some new pens for Christmas. I'm holding one right now. Here's the pen. Listen to it. Listen to it click. Hear that? That's the sound of the pen. And this pen is the Pilot Precise V5 Rolling Ball Extra Fine pen. Oh, they're extra fine. That makes so much more sense. Oh my gosh. So I was writing with these because I was like, hey, I got to test out the pens, right? The pens. I got to test out the pens. Because Maddie got them for me. So I got to use them. So I test them out. I start writing in my amazing cursive because I'm so cool and so awesome, right? So I do that. And it sucks. It's so bad. My cursive has never been worse than it is right now. Okay, so the cursive is super bad. My S's are so sharp right now. Holy. Jeez. We're going to keep that in because we never edit this podcast. Ain't that right? Well, I will have to edit the one with Grandpa because he said some personal things, as I hinted before. So thanks, Grandpa. Now I got to edit the 2-hour and 14-minute conversation we had. Oh, man. Anyway, my handwriting was so bad. It was bad. It was terrible. And I decided, hey, I got to get good again because I used to be really good at it, and now I suck. So, what do I do? What do I do, you think? What do I do? I start writing. I start writing some stuff, okay? So I write. I'm writing a page a day. That is my New Year's resolution. Not really, because I've only done it 3 times, and it's January 11th. But it's just something I've naturally started doing, so that's pretty cool. A page a day of the college rule leaf paper. Do a bit of cursive. Use a different pen every day because I got a billion pens, right? I got to put them to use. Run out of ink sometime, right? Before they go out by themselves and dry up into the crevice that is the desert that I live in. However, the practice of doing a page a day was a lot more rewarding. Can't say that right. Bruh, I keep doing the mouth noises. I'm so sorry. Okay, so rewarding than I expected because I get to get all my thoughts out. I get to get them all out. I got to get all the thoughts out, and that's pretty much it. And, well, I guess it's kind of helping me with my script, which I'm going to tell you about later, if I remember, which I might not remember, in which case you suck. So, okay, I'm going to kill somebody. Boom. Just such a great sound. Anyway, that's like banging the mic arm. I missed the amazing sunset that was today. Get that. I missed it. It was terrible. Well, the sunset wasn't terrible, but it was terrible that I missed it. This was the first time in the rememberable history of mine that I recollect getting angry. Not angry, just slightly upset in here. Just the part where you're like, man, I'm so mad. Oh my gosh. I'm going to be mean I'm just going to be a bitch to deal with right now because I'm so mad. That was the feeling I got. And I haven't gotten that for a very long time. It was because of I was at my job. I got to give you background to why this was annoying. Because without the full story, Kanye just doesn't like Jews. So, on that note, I get to work. It is 4:00 p.m., the same time I always go to work. There is 2 events going on that I have to regulate and facilitate. I'm on the facilities. After all, the facilities team. I am there at 4, and then I do all the stuff. I get everything set up in like 15 minutes because I'm a legend. Get done with that. One of the people for it shows up shortly thereafter at around 4:30. Right? And at 4:30, I say hi. She says hi, and she goes to the room. And I sit around for an hour just doing nothing. Because what else am I going to do? Right? So I'm sitting around for an hour doing nothing. And then at 5:37, my alarm goes off to go look at the sunset because they are just fantastic. Right? So I go out to the sunset. It's gearing up to be one of the best ones of the year. I can say that because it's January 11th. And I'm looking out, I was like, dude, this is going to be great. That's just going to be great. It's going to be the greatest sunset I've ever seen. And then, what does she do? She calls me. The lady calls me. Let me tell you. So the lady calls me. And I don't like that because I'm looking at the sunset right now. So the lady calls me. And she says, hey, Ben, I need you to vacuum this whole room. It's really dirty and I don't like it. I don't like that, how dirty it is. Because you know how I get when things are dirty. I can't do the Joker voice very well because I got to be kind of quiet. I apologize for you Joker lovers. But it's not going to happen. So the woman calls me and is like, hey, I need you to clean the room. So I was like, all right. I'm a little annoyed because, the sunset's going on. So I quickly clean the room in 5 minutes because I'm a legend. I'm about to leave it. She's like, oh, by the way, that vacuum that I asked you to get, because she asked me to get a vacuum, can you, I know I asked you to just bring it over, but can you actually be the person to vacuum the entire room? And it's my job to do it. So I'm like, okay, let me vacuum the whole room for you. Let me vacuum the entire room. I'm going to vacuum the whole room, okay? Where is it? Where's the vacuum? And I keep slamming into this. I think I'm going to put holes in my little thingy here, but these are only like $20 headphones, so we are being chilling, right? And so this all sounds like, bro, like, isn't it your job to just do that anyway? And to which I respond, 2 things. Here are the 2 things. The 2 things are, number 1, that wasn't my job. Well, it's part of my job, but it shouldn't have been that day because my partner that comes in before me said, hey, I know there's an event going on in that room, so I tidied it up for you. I made it look all nice and sexy. And I was like, that's great. Thank you so much for doing that. Now I don't have to do it when I get here at 4:00 p.m. And he's like, that's fantastic. I'm going to go home now. I was like, I'm going to go home now. I was like, that's great. So I say bye to him. He goes home. I sit there for an hour. Doing nothing. Meanwhile, this woman is in the room. In the room that's dirty. In the room. Right? For an hour is in the room setting up and doesn't tell me while I'm doing nothing for an hour that maybe the room is dirty. I would have no problem doing double the work that I had to do for this. However, she tells me as soon as I get out of my chair and go over to the sunset viewing spot on campus. That one little window that happens once a day that lasts like 10 minutes. 10-minute sunset, baby. That is the time, and it was all messed up for me, boo-hoo. You didn't get to see the sunset. Oh my gosh, it's not like there's 365 of them every year. This was a good one. Okay, it's the winter. I'm into sunsets right now, and it made me mad. Oh, it made me so mad. I was like, I'm going to be curt with you because I don't like you anymore because I'm mad. Meh. Just like a total just idiot person. And then post meaning not Post Malone, but post after like 5 minutes after that incident. I was like, man, I am more upset that I got upset than I was upset because I had something happen. And then I was over it. I was like, oh, darn. But seriously, like, you couldn't have just told me I had an hour to do nothing, dude. I was doing nothing for an hour. An hour. Bruh, it was an hour that I was doing nothing. Can you tell me why? You couldn't have just told me. I would have done so much for you. I would have I would have scrubbed the tables for you with bleach and all. I would have done it. Put on the gas mask. Done the bleach. But no. No, you had to go and do the thing. Whatever. It's fine. Whatever. Deep voice. Oh man, we got the deep voice tonight. Very cool. Broadcaster. So, I mean, that's all we got tonight. Bye-bye. No, I'm kidding. So, the new year, I got some things to reflect on about the previous podcast we put up, because so far on the thing, we've put up, I think, 3. Well, no, one of them's privated. I'm still deciding on that one, because some very non-PC things were said on that one, and I don't know if I want that out in the world. I may just put clips of it, and then the original video will be like not even in there, but you know, we will see. We will find out whether or not. I'm going to put up the other ones first. Like, this one's going to go up first before the other one. So, we got that going on. I know what I'm talking about. Okay. Just listen to me scramble and flail as I try to come up with a topic. I already know what I'm talking about. I already know. Let me tell you. I already know what I'm talking about. You don't need to tell me what I'm talking about. This is my plan. You hear that? This is my plan. I don't know why. Why are you doing it this way? Tell me why. Tell me why you love my truck and my 3 beers. Okay. The episode with Nathaniel, he's actually funny. Who would have thought my brother's funny? Oh my gosh. The dude can tell a story. The dude can talk into a microphone and hear himself in mic monitoring. What a legend. Actual natural at the microphone. Very, very impressed with his podcasting skills. Is it a skill, or is it just knowing how to have a conversation and not be like, oh my gosh, it's being recorded, so I'm going to be nervous now. Oh my. Makes me upset. You know, I had Tanner on the podcast. Very happy with how that turned out. Very natural. We got into some very cool topics like practicing, which I didn't make a clip of because nobody cares. Unless you're a musician. But his band lost $280,000 worth of stuff was very interesting. $500,000, $1 million. That was a good story. I enjoyed that story a lot. Yep. First time I heard it that time, he played the piano a little bit. And then, yeah. So there are 2 guests that I guess 3, because Jacob is on the one that I've not yet released, that I'm still debating on releasing. So we'll see what happens there. But I guess technically Jacob and Judah Neiman and Mark Those are the ones I want on the most, and the ones who have been evading me. Oh, they've been evading me, and I haven't been able to have them on. Urgh, makes me so mad. My friends don't like me. They don't like me. Double the pride, twice the fall. Or what? How does that count to quote go? I don't know. Anyway, Judah, I've just not been able to have him on here. We always have great conversations. IRL, always a pleasure to talk to him. So I just want to have him on. And Mark, because possibly the greatest conversationalist I know. Yeah, I'm saying that. Greatest conversationalist I know. And I just haven't been able to have him on. I've seen him. I've been in person with him. He gave me the whole spiel on the, hey, I went to New Zealand. Did you know? Did you know I went to New Zealand and that's just something I did? So I get that whole spiel from him. Right. I got the whole thing multiple times, mind you. And I got the multiple thing, like hanging out with them. Man, you don't know what I'm talking about at all. I got to give context. Again. No, I don't. Yeah, so I've been trying to get Mark on. I've talked to him. That's the point. IRL, and I still can't get him on the podcast. I don't know why I can't get him on here. We've tried 4 times and nothing has worked out, and it makes me really mad. Not really. Slightly irritated. It not only Mark because I hate Mark. No, only Mark because there is something. My nose is running. Holy shit. What in the Sam Hill? Why is my nose running? I thought I was hot earlier. I know I'm sexy, but I thought I was hot. um, no, Mark is I need to talk to him about something. What if I just left it like that? I need to tell him that I'm gay. Oh my gosh. Mark, I just need to tell you I've had a crush on you for 20 years, even though I'm not even 20 years old. I've had a crush on you for longer than I've been alive. No. I want to talk to him about teching for my old high school. Now, what does that mean? What is teching? Not teaching, teching. Now, that is a term that applies to when you bring in someone who knows some stuff to teach high school band students about their instrument in the context of marching band. Now, I haven't done marching band stuff in like 2 years, but I don't have to be good. I just have to know, right? I just have to pass the knowledge. Obviously, if I get the job, I'm going to just get godly again. Not again, because I was never godly to begin with, but get really good, right? I need to be able to hold my own with these people. With these people, I need to be able to hold my own, right? With these kids, these children, I need to be able to hold my own if I get the job. So if I don't, I need to talk to him, and then I need to email my old director. Ugh. Bruh, I'm dying. Email my old director, and then I can go into the logistics of actually getting in there. And if my director is like, hey, not this year. Because this is the only year I'd probably do it. Because I have the bug right now, and I want to do it. I just want to do it. So if she says no, I just won't get good. And I don't want to get good and then ask and then be like, man, I wasted all this time getting good again. So got to talk to Mark first, which is why the irritation is real. So, Mark, you suck, and that's that. Not really. So that's why I need to talk to him about things, about why I want to teach there and tech there and all that good stuff. And the reason I want to do it is because I think I would be good at it. Not because I want to be like, oh, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be so cool. I want to be awesome. No. No. I I don't know. I think it's more of like I didn't have a good teacher then, and I want to be that guy for those people, right? Cuz for one, I think it'd be very rewarding. It's something like, man, I did that. That's something I've done. So that'll be fun. And I kind of miss the old high school vibe. I'm not going to lie. I mean, going to community college, and it's just like high school, but worse. It's just not as good. I mean, I'm doing fun things now because it's like, oh, you're in film, and but I'm with the freshmen who don't know what the fuck they're doing. Uh, but I want to go. I want to go experience the whole thing. Going to the games, right? Building a culture. Oh my gosh, decentralized command. Jocko Willink, suck my off. Holy, I've been binging Jocko Willink lately, and I just keep thinking, man, I already do a lot of these things. If I'd known these in high school, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can go back to high school and tell these kids while they're in high school, and then they'll know it while they're in high school, and not be like me. It was like, man, if I had known this earlier, if only I had known this earlier, I would have been smarter, right? But now they do know it earlier. They do. They know it earlier. So that's why I want to go back, be the passer of knowledge, and also like to share. Does that make sense? To share. Let me explain that. So I want to share the joy. The joy. I want to share the joy of killing your victims with a knife. No, my nose is running. My nose is running again. Why? Why? Oh my gosh. Why is my nose running? So yeah, I want to. There's a lot of people I know. Oh, I need to talk about the picture. Holy shit. There's a lot of people I know. Yep, I know a lot of people. There's a lot of people I know that did not enjoy band, did not enjoy high school, did not enjoy marching band. Did not enjoy. Can I speak clearly? Can I speak clearly? Maybe I can. Maybe I just need to talk a little louder. Maybe. So I'm going to talk a little louder. So I knew some people that did not enjoy marching band. The back of my mouth is actually getting very, not sore, but tired. And that's why enunciating certain syllables is being harder. They didn't enjoy their time. Point being, get to the point. And that makes me sad because I enjoyed my time and I'm like, man, they didn't enjoy theirs. So, can I help people enjoy their time? The answer is no. So I'm not going to do it. No, the answer is maybe, and it's worth a try. I mean, I know plenty of kids who would have loved band, loved it if, and had a great time and had all the dopamine boosts and had a like, oh my gosh, I love band. I love band. If the direction had been better, not from the director, but from the drum people, right? I felt extremely suppressed in marching band, and I want to give those kids the freedom. That sounds really weird. That sounds really corny and cheesy, but more like the main reason I want to go, and because there's plenty of fantastic people who could do it, right? But I think I'm the person to do it because I still understand what it is actually like to be a high schooler in marching band and in a percussion, in a drumming position, in drumline. I still understand that, I feel like. And I understand what sucks about it. I understand what's good about it. And I understand what is actually important to understand when you're in that position. Do you understand? Can I say that one more time? Understand me. Understand? So there's a lot of things. I guess it's just like, imagine I'm talking to Mark, right? Here's my pitch for being a tech. So imagine you're a tech and these kids are freaking out over like maybe a cadence got taken away. Speaking from experience, I didn't freak out, but a lot of kids did. They cried. There was tears because they took away a cadence. I mean, the kid. Well, oh, it's bad. The kids right now, they only have one cadence. That's bad. You should have like 12, at least. Colleges have like 40 up their sleeve, and they have a super long one too. I kind of want to make a long one. And make it so like when they walk into the stadium, they have something to play. Right? So they have something to play. That'd be cool. I could write them cadences. I could do so many cool things. Build a culture. But I understand what certain things mean to kids. And I think I'm cracking my knuckles. I think that's completely lost on a lot of these texts because they just don't know what it's like. They don't get it. They weren't the normal kid. They weren't the normal kid in marching band. We're like, they were just there to have a good time. Right? When I show up, my first thing I want to do is go like have all the kids there, like that's like the freaking tryouts or whatever, and just go in a circle and be like, why are you here? What do you want out of this? What can you do for this band? Because they don't care. They're teenagers. They don't give a fuck. Right? What can this band do for you? Right? Why are you here? What do you want to do? Right? Now for me, I was one of the lucky ones who got the serotonin and the dopamine and the what's the fulfillment? That's the word. Thank you. The fulfillment from just playing the music. So when I did the show, I was like, man, that's enough. I just did the show. I'm so cool. I get to stand on field feeling sweaty and all that good stuff, right? I was like, man, that's so cool. Like Mark is that way too. He'll like do his show and like, man, I feel fulfilled. That's why I do it. The show, boom, right? The music. Not all kids do it for that. I knew plenty of kids who were just there because their friends were there, and they're like, man, I want to hang out with my buddies, so I'm going to show up to marching band. Yeah. And some kids, yeah, they're just there for fun. And we need to understand those kids. And we need to understand the kids who are there because they want to be a god on the snare drummer. They want to do DCI, right? They want to do that. You hear that, cracks? Beautiful. That was my neck. We need to understand those kids as well, right? And I understand both of them. And they don't... The more important thing is that they feel understood. I guarantee, under the direction of the current director, no shame, no hate to her, because I agree with this. Because this is just... I'm biased with this, is that when you're at band, you show up to work. That's what you do, right? But teenagers, they don't get it. Teenagers, I am a teenager. I'm 19. High schoolers, freshmen, they don't get that. Why are they there? And they don't... These texts are just like, oh, just learn the snare drum. Just learn how to play. I mean, you know how to play with like drumsticks. Just learn the snare drum. The snare drum in a concert snare, the thing where you like peppery pat, tap, 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 do, that is not a marching snare. That is not even the same. That's not even close to the same. Not even comparable. Okay, it's not comparable. All right, let me tell you, it's not. It's not comparable. It's just not. It's not the same instrument, and they treat it like it is. It's not the same thing, and they need to understand. Like this was not. This was not propensitated. I wish that was a word. It might be. This was not translated, transcribed. This was not told to me. I guess is the best way to. I can't figure out the word. This was not presented to me. This idea that I'm about to say when I was in high school as a freshman, learning the marching band crap or whatever. That marching band and concert band are not like the same thing. And that sounds really stupid to someone like me now or any text. Like, of course they're not the same thing. Why would you practice the same techniques? But they see it, they're like, oh, it's a drum? That means I just do the same thing on this drum. And so you play a concert snare with drums, marching band technique, you're going to break the fucking drum, okay? That's just how it is. And they don't get it. And that's not, it's like you wouldn't even think to think that. Does that even make sense? You wouldn't even think to think that. Like, there's certain things you don't think to think unless you don't know, right? Like, there's certain questions that you just don't ask if you know what you're doing on the piano. It's like, well, what fingers should I do this thing with? To a beginner, that's a completely valid question. You're like, I don't know. Like, which fingers would be the best? And then as a seasoned player, you just say, whatever fingers work the best, I'm going to do it. Like, it's just up to you, man. It's up to you. Just, I don't know how to play this run with which fingers. The fingering isn't here. Well, figure it out. Whatever's better for your hand, because whatever freaking Slenderman long-fingered dude wrote the fingering, it might not work for you. It just might not. Okay, so everything I am expressing here and painting the picture of, and I'm just going to keep saying things till I find the word articulating. Thank you. Articulating here, I don't think most techs understand. I really don't. And that's why I'm going to talk to Mark about this and ask him, hey, is this something that people understand? Do they know about this? Right? Do they know? Is this something that people think about? Is this something on their mind? Like, it's the notion. Shout out to Inception and that one song, The Notion, right? They don't. I'm not even sure if they have the notion to understand what I'm saying here. Not even like not understand, but like understand the idea of what I'm talking about. Like, I think of my old texts and the way they explain things completely makes sense to me now. But back then, no. There were so many better ways to explain things. The only person, Jessie Vaughn, right? She was my first drum tech, and she said, make sure you play through the head. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Play through the head? You want me to break it? Make sure the bottom head rings too. And then she added that on top. I was like, oh my gosh, it makes sense. And I was playing triplets, and it was right. That's what it sounded like. And I was like, hey, that's in time. And she's like, your triplets don't sound good. And that's all I got. I was like, dude, I thought they sounded great, because I also something I'm not sure people understand, or not understand, but take advantage of, is the idea that the incoming freshmen either think they don't know shit, or they think they're like God's gift to humanity on the drum, right? On the drum, to do the Jocko cadence. They think they're God's gift to humanity on the drum, right? That's what they think. And I didn't think that. I thought, I was like, oh shit, I can't even play paradiddles. Who am I? What are paradiddles? This is a new foreign thing. It's like I'm expected to just know what this is. Some kids aren't even exposed to it. Okay? They don't even know what a paradiddle is. And now I'm like, dude, that's like a fundamental. But they don't know what it is. And there's no reason for them to know what it is, right? So there's that, and there's also the kids who think they're God's gift to humanity. And you need to just explain in specific ways to those kids, otherwise they quit. And they're like, I got bass drum, not snare drum, I suck. I'm going to quit. I'm never coming back. There was a kid who didn't come back. And it's annoying, because they treat these auditions like they have this luxury of choosing who they want, and they really don't, because the program in its current state does not have enough magnetism, attraction to be competitive. I need to take a drink. Competitive in the audition scenario. What does that mean? That means that when you're choosing your drum line, I want to set the line, right? That's what they say. We got to set the line. We're going to set the line today. So be ready, right? So we're going to set the line. And we have 9 kids for 9 spots, okay? Everyone's making it. And they treat it like, oh my gosh, you're going to get cut. Like, no, you're not. They treat these kids like, hey, come back next year. You can't, with that, not like saying that, but with that attitude. And then now these kids are in your thing. They haven't had a year to mull it over and get better and be like, oh man, I wasn't good enough. No, they get the idea, oh, I made it. So I am good enough, but they just don't understand that I'm good enough to be here. And that's their problem. That's not a me problem. Kids, high schoolers, I didn't understand that. Okay. I was like, oh, I made bass drum, but I could totally make this other thing. I could totally do it. Just with enough practice, I could get there. But it was an arrogant way of doing it, not like, oh, I need to practice more. I need to bust my chops, and then maybe I'll audition for this, and I can get it. No, I was like, I was misplaced. I'm only here because I'm a freshman. Da 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 da. Right? And it's like there's the idea of seniority, right? Oh, we gotta let the upperclassmen do what they want because they put in the time and the hours. But maybe this kid put in more time and hours as an 8th grader than these upperclassmen, and he's better. These upperclassmen put in the same amount of time just over the course of like 3 years as opposed to 1, because this kid grinded 8 hours a day, right? He grinded 8 hours a day every day, and now he's way better than these guys who grinded 15 minutes a week for 2 years, right? Or 3 years, whatever, however old you want. 4 years, they're a senior. They're the upperclassmen, right? And this kid's better than them. So what are we going to do about that? We're going to throw them on the line and be like, hey, I know you have the maturity of like a 2-year-old, but you play really well. That was not stated in any capacity when I was there. No capacity did they ever talk about that. They were like, whoever's the best is going to make it. No, there was that level of maturity that they didn't talk about. They need to talk about that. They need to say, this is what we want. This is how you get there. This is our rules. If you do not want to play by these, then this is this. And that's how they did it. You can't do that when you don't have enough kids to fill out a freaking line, dude. You got to build it up. You got to build the culture. Why do they want to be there? You're treating, because they're like, oh man, we're putting in the work and we're being treated like this is some amazing thing, and it's not. And we know it's not because it's us. Right? Like, that's the thing. It was the arrogance of the officiating of the thing. Let me explain that. The arrogance of the staff and the faculty. Man, I'm clicking again. I'm so sorry. It was the arrogance, right? The arrogance of the officiating. Let me explain that. I've said that twice now. It's fine. I just hit the thing again. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm not going to let that knock me off my rocker. So the arrogance, what does that mean? So they believed, right? This is maybe they didn't believe this, but this is how they presented themselves. They believed that you should join because we are cool, not because the program itself is cool. No, because we are awesome. I'm a cool guy. I'm teching, so join because I'm that cool. And these kids don't give a fuck about you. They were like, oh my gosh, these guys, no. They only want to impress you to get to this spot on the snare line. I want to be snare. I want to do the thing. Right? That's why they do it. They don't do it because they like you. Like the magnetism, they treat it like a DCI group. It is not a DCI group. It is not a college group. It is not a winter guard group. Okay? It is not a winter drum line, whatever the heck you want to call it. I was like, oh, we have Benjamin Kenobi, who's like this big snare guy at ASU. They're like, oh, man, we have him. You should join our line. You'll get taught by him. Like these high schoolers, their ecosystem, to quote Jocko, in his definition of ecosystem, the way he uses it. What a legend. I love Jocko. Their ecosystem does not care about your ecosystem. Understand that you need to shift your ecosystem to theirs and then meet in the middle and then eventually indoctrinate them and convert them into your ecosystem. And if you do it right, they're going to get there anyway. But no, they're like, oh, this is what we find important, and so you should too if you want to make it. And then there's this spite built up on that from me when I was in there because like I don't care about this, but now I have to, right? Or as opposed to, oh man, now I really care about this. This is really cool. As opposed to me having to care about things. Like when an 8th grader shows up for Chop Shaps, right? The auditions, they're just thinking, man, this marching band thing, I get to play drums a bunch, right? That's cool. That's very neat. And then these other guys are like, you get to work with Benjamin Kenobi. It's like, who gives a fuck? Who cares? They don't know who that is. And it wasn't Benjamin Kenobi. I'm just saying his name because it's like the only tech guy I remember, and he doesn't even work at my old school. He was never there. It's not his fault. I just want to separate him from all this. Legendary guy, very cool. ASU man. I guess not anymore. I think he quit. I don't know. Dang it. There was never a thing to like. Let me say this. In all my years, you don't care about this unless you're a drummer, but still understand this. I'm going to explain why this is important. So, in all my years as a drummer at my high school, Red Mountain, we did not get a single drum break. Not a single one. Not a single section. We got like 4 measures once, and it was during this like transitional thing, and like that's just how you transition in marching band shows. You just have the drums do, and then the horns come in and they're like or whatever, right? And that's just how it works. And they were like, when they gave this to us, they're like, oh my gosh, guys, this is like the big thing. This is the big thing, guys. And you know what they did? They put us in front while the woodwinds were playing. The woodwinds. So we're in front of the woodwinds. So they give us this. They're like, oh my gosh, here, there's 4 measures for you to do something cool, right? And usually, you're given a couple bars. Dude, bars. You're given a couple bars to do things normally. But no, they give us 4 fucking measures in front of the woodwinds. And they're like, oh no, we got to hear the woodwind line here. We got to hear it. So you guys need to play like nothing, right? You need to play nothing in your big break. The big excuse for a break that we gave you, that's all the scraps that we gave you, we're not even going to let you do. You can't even eat the scraps. I mean, just ridiculous. In hindsight, I mean, we were pissed in the moment. One time, amazing story. One time, very short, but a very nice story. We're doing the thing, right? One of those types of things. And they keep saying, drums are too loud, drums are too loud, drums are too loud. And you know what we do? We just don't even play. We just walk around, we pretend, we airplay. No one plays a single note. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so good. I loved how the drums sounded there. It sounded so great. And no one was there to advocate for us because no one had built a relationship with the director that was in the teching position. Do you understand that? No one was able to advocate for us because they didn't do their job either. So, because I am upset about that, and because I have all this revenge built up, no, because I have empathy for that section of marching band, and I feel like I could really connect with these high schoolers and really not be an impact in their life, but just be something that there is a need, like straight up, there's a need, and I believe I can fill it. But fill it not efficiently. What's the word? With quality. Quality is the best quality. Fill it with quality, right? Because there's a lot of there's like I was saying before, there's a lot of really good techs out there, really good, and there's a lot of shitty techs that just do it because they want an ego boost. We had a tech that came in. She did a thing at Mountain View, Highland High School, and she was just like, she was just there as an ego boost. Like she didn't even do anything. She just kind of like showed up, half-assed the job. I totally forgot about her. We called her Brie Larson because she looked like Brie Larson, and was just as annoying as Brie Larson. No, she was a little better than Brie Larson. Like, I'm sure she was a great person. I'm sure. But she was not a good tech. She did not care about. I never got the sense she cared about us. I never got the sense that she was there for us. I got the sense that she was there so she could look better. She was there for her. And it was our job as the students to make her look good. Whenever she's like, oh man, we got to get this exercise done. It needs to sound good. Surface level. Great idea. We need to get this exercise because it's the fundamentals. If this sounds good, the rest of everything else should sound good. Right? Oh, I need to talk about fundamentals real quick. And which, I mean, yeah, like it sounds great, but the only reason she was doing that was so when we look good, she would get the compliment from the director, hey, great job with the drum line. And she just eats up all of that compliment and doesn't share it with the rest of the drumline, who really are the ones who put in the work. And even if she put in the work, it's the drumline that put in the work. Does that make sense? Oh, she led them in the right. No, they put in the work. Like that's what those kids need to hear. They need to hear, oh, your work, your hard work, that paid off. You did a good job. And she complimented me, but she's really complimenting you. That she being the director. The director complimented me and said I did a good job. But the only reason she said that was because you guys are awesome and because you did a good job. So really she's complimenting you. Okay? And that was never translated to us. It was never articulated to us ever. That never happened. And a thing with the fundamentals before I forget, because this is a great thought. In high school, when you come in, and even when you're a senior, maybe not a senior, but like up to like a junior even, halfway through junior year, you become a senior pretty much. Anyway, as a high schooler doing drum stuff, the fundamentals, like the eights, double beats, paradiddle beats, triplet, grids, right? All that good stuff. The rolls, the diddles, the dynamics. All those different exercises are just, dude, they're just songs, right? That's how they see them. They're songs. That's how I saw them. I was like, oh, I learned the song. That's great. And then I'm not going to apply any of this to the rest of the show because this is a separate song. No, this is not a song. This is a I don't even know how to explain. Like, I need to figure out a way to explain this before if I make it in. Man, I really want to do it now because I feel confident, and this is just me stroking my own ego. Fantastic. But no, like, I don't. You hear me wheezing? Jeez. Okay. All right, it's out of my throat. Phlegm. Sorry. Yeah. So like the fundamentals. You might treat them as songs. These are exercises. These are not the basics. These are the foundations. Right? Oh, this is not a song you need to know how to play front to back. I don't care if you can play that front to back. I care if you can apply this. So when we do the triplet roll in the exercise, when a triplet roll comes up in the show, I need you to think about that exercise and be like, how do I do it there? My hands understand it, but does my brain understand how to apply that? Right? I'm playing some 16th note thing, some cool triplet thing, and then this triplet roll comes up, right? Where's my brain going when I do that? How am I understanding this? And the texts don't care about that. They're just like, oh, just play the triplet roll. I mean, you know how to play this. You played it here. That just because they played it there does not mean they can play it in context. They need to understand why the context matters. Okay, but you know what? I know we've gone over an hour, which I'm very proud of. Effortless hour. Effortless. Because I could talk about this shit all day. Right now, at least, because I really care about it. Which is why I need to talk to Mark about this. Maybe Saturday. I'm going to text him right now. Let's text him. Let's do a visual thing on the audio podcast. Because, you know, we all love to do that. We're texting Mark right now. does Friday evening work or Saturday morning. There we go. We've sent the things. Fantastic. We've done the things. What am I doing? Oh, this guy. I gotta talk about this guy. This guy, his name is Junya. Junya. He's this Asian dude who I want to kill because he makes all Asian people look bad. It's like the Jesse guy. Did I rant about the Jesse guy? I think I did. I'm Jesse and I have the Google Pixel, right? Ugliest motherfucking guy I've ever seen. Okay? Not only is he an ugly person, he's Asian, and so it's worse. No, that'd be racist, even though I am Asian. But I can say that because I am Asian, yeah. He's an ugly Asian person. By anyone's standards, ugly guy, Jesse with the Google Pixel, right? Ugly. Now here's Junya, one of the most followed people on TikTok. He does these stupid things. He does the dumb smile. He looks like an idiot. He's the dancing monkey, right? But he's Asian. So the panda, the dancing panda. On TikTok. Someone's car is being broken into. Interesting. I hope that wasn't my car. I'd be really mad. Yeah, so he makes all Asian people look really bad. Really bad. He's reinforcing stereotypes of Asians being dumb. Even though like the stereotype was, oh, Asian, you're smart, you do math, haha, calculator, right? And but you suck at driving and you have a small penis, right? That was the whole thing. And now but the coronavirus thing, that didn't help either. There's the stop Asian hate. Oh my gosh, stop. Just stop killing Asian people. Like, what's the deal? And now Asian people look really dumb. Because here's the thing. This is the thing. Here we go. Let me tell you. I got this big idea. Let me tell you what's going on. So, back in the day, the only Asian people you would see would be the epic ones, the Asian calculator kids, right? Because they'd come over, the foreign exchange students, the FECs, the FECs. What the feck, right? The FECs. And they were so cool. Not really. But they were really smart. They were doctors. The Asian doctor, right? That whole thing. Make a lot of money. Asian people. We get the job done, right? That was the whole thing. And now, the same thing's still happening, right? Which is great. However, the idiots that don't know, they don't make it. They don't do any of this shit. They don't do anything productive. They're fat. They're overweight. I said the same thing twice. They're ugly. They're not hot. Okay? Mostly the guys. The girls, at least they're attractive, but they are in all the stupid ads. Like Asian TikTok is so bad. It's some of the worst shit ever. It's all just product placement. Consumerism, am I right? Communism. But the guys, so ugly, all of them, so ugly, and they're doing the stupid dancing monkey stuff on social media. They all are dumb. They're doing the mindless scrolling content for the content whores that they are, right? And that's who the average person is seeing. They see Junya, and they see the idiot that he is when he crushes the eggs on him, and like freaking pours stuff in his eye. It's like the Steve-O stuff, but Steve-O's cool because you're like, oh my gosh, he's doing so much for the content. But this is a different era. On TikTok, when people do stuff for the content, it sucks ass. All right? Fucking hate Junya. Anyway, Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year. Oh my gosh. Happy New Year. And And a happy. I want to wish you Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Maybe, I don't know. So this is the first solo episode to go out in a while. I think it was a success. I was very proud of how it got done. I'm so proud of the freaking. I'm so proud of the product. I just want to thank my mom and my company, my agent, for getting me this role. And I want to accept the Golden Globes. Right? No. No. We're going to finish this before midnight and go to bed and wake up. Oh, I made a bet with my mom, right? So I have work tomorrow at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Which means if I get up at 7, right? Immediately at 7. Jump in the shower. Do the thing. Run to the gym in my car. That gives me 3 hours before I have to be at work. More than enough time to go to the gym, get some breakfast at Nectar or something, go to the gym, right? She doesn't think I can do it because I have shown in the past that I can't do it. But we made a bet, so maybe I'll do it this time. I don't know. But with that, that is the Wednesday, January 11th. Actually, I want to do something else here. Well, we almost stopped there for a second. I want to read my book for you guys. For me. This is, how long is this part? If it's a couple pages, it's like 3 pages. So I'm going to read this for you. I'm going to get my lights. This is I haven't read this yet. I keep hitting the stupid thing here. I'm sorry about that. Here's a light. I can see now. That's great. So this here is an excerpt from a book I have been reading. It's called Leadership Strategy and Tactics by Jocko Willink. So I'm just going to read this for you, and then we are going to sign off. I might switch into his cadence because it's his writing. Here we go. This is page 98. Extreme ownership of everything. This is just going to help me reading out loud. I'm sorry if you don't like this. You can just stop the podcast now if you don't want to hear this. One of the most important tenets of leadership that I adhered to as a leader in my military career was the idea of extreme ownership. It meant that when something went wrong, as the leader, it was my fault. If there was a failure of some kind, up or down the chain of command, then I was responsible for it. I wrote about this in the first chapter of my first book, Extreme Ownership. I need to adjust the microphone again. The idea of extreme ownership has struck a chord with people and has been incredibly effective in helping those in all kinds of leadership positions, leading all kinds of teams in all kinds of industries, businesses, and professions. Leaders found that when they took ownership of everything in their world, they saw other members of their teams, both up and down the chain of command, taking ownership as well. When people take ownership of their jobs and their mission, the jobs get done and the mission gets accomplished. When there are problems and people take ownership of those problems, the problems get solved. While extreme ownership may seem like a fairly simple concept to understand, it can be difficult to fully comprehend what it really means. What it really means is that the leader is responsible for everything. Absolutely everything. This can be hard to fully understand because there are times when a subordinate does something that the boss feels they cannot control and cannot possibly be responsible for. A subordinate might make a mistake or take an action that is completely unexpected. How can that be the leader's fault? I like to use the example of a young machine gunner in a SEAL platoon to exemplify how a leader is truly exemplify how a leader truly is responsible for everything that happens. A SEAL gunner plays a key role in a SEAL platoon. As the name implies, he carries a machine gun, a heavy, belt-fed weapon capable of firing over 700 rounds per minute. The machine gun's ability to lay down such massive firepower makes it critical to a SEAL platoon or squad, because it is the main weapon that puts down suppressive fire on the enemy. It keeps the enemy's heads down, allowing the rest of the SEALs to maneuver. The machine gun provides the main source of cover and the fundamental tactic of cover and move, the first law of combat. Of course, the machine gun doesn't operate itself. It is worthless without the machine gun gunner. What? It is worthless without the machine gunner. The machine gunner carries... wow, there's a lot of machine guns. The machine gunner carries the weapon and its ammunition, maintains the weapon, loads and fires the weapon. Those are the mechanics of his job. But a machine gunner must also be aware of how to best employ his weapon. He must understand how to get in a good position from which to best engage the enemy and provide cover for his team. He must also understand the terrain he is in and see how it can be used to his advantage and to the advantage of the platoon, and how the enemy can also use terrain to their advantage if allowed to do so. The machine gunner must also understand his field of fire. Field of fire is the area of the battlefield a SEAL is responsible for, whether a street, hallway, valley, or cardinal direction. In that area, he must locate and engage the enemy. But a field of fire, is equally important in its limitations. Outside one's field of fire, there may be innocent civilians, other friendly forces, or perhaps even your own SEALs. Bluntly stated, staying within your field of fire prevents you from shooting your own people. So the machine gunner can have a lot on his mind, but because his job is to shoot, there generally isn't much leadership required from him. Machine gunners are almost always part of a small fire team of 4 to 6 people, which is led by a fire team leader. With the lack of leadership opportunities, being a machine gunner is a job that is generally held by relatively inexperienced new guys who are in their first or maybe second platoons. Because of the size of the machine gun, it is often referred to as the pig, which makes the machine gunner a pig gunner. Also, because of the size of the pig gun, it usually requires a SEAL who is slightly larger to carry it. While it is not always true, it is common for the new guys to be assigned as pig gunners if they are large-framed, strong individuals. There is also an ongoing stereotypical joke in the SEAL teams that pig gunners, being big, strong new guys, aren't the sharpest tools in the shed. Any new guy that does something dumb will be told he will make a good pig gunner. When a briefing is completed, it will not be uncommon for the platoon chief to ask, "Do you pig gunners understand?" This is why the stereotypical pig gunner makes the perfect example of extreme ownership, because the stereotypical pig gunner is going to make mistakes, and they're an easy target for blame. I heard it on a fairly regular basis from young SEAL leaders on training operations that I ran. These young leaders didn't fully understand their roles and the concept of extreme ownership. The training operations I ran were very complex and stressful combat simulations. We had a large budget for training, and we utilized it to replicate the chaos and mayhem of combat to the best of our ability. We hired Hollywood set designers to make our training areas look like cities or villages in Iraq or Afghanistan. We used role players to mimic the actions of both enemy combatants and friendly civilians. And we simulated our weapons with paintball or other high-end paint marking rounds, or with a multi-million-dollar laser tag system. This simulated combat zone not only taught tactics, it was the ultimate leadership laboratory. It is where I would see young SEAL leaders reveal that they didn't understand what extreme ownership really meant. Let's say a young pig gunner shot his weapon in the wrong direction, outside his field of fire. When I would ask the pig gunner's leader what had gone wrong, it was very easy for him to say, well, the pig gunner made a mistake. He shot in the wrong direction. Whose fault is that? I would ask. Well, the gunner aimed the weapon, he pulled the trigger. It is his fault. Actually, I would explain, it is your fault. How can it be my fault? He's the one who shot the weapon. The young leader would object. This is a pretty common response, but it is also wrong. You see, if a pig gunner makes a mistake, it means he hasn't been trained properly. The leader is responsible for the training of the gunner. If the gunner shoots in the wrong direction, it means he hasn't been briefed, so he fully understands his field of fire. The leader is responsible for briefing the gunner, and yes, it could mean the pig gunner is completely incompetent in understanding his task and knowing his field of fire. In that case, it is the leader's responsibility to identify that shortfall and either train the gunner so he does understand or remove the gunner from his position and place him into a job he's capable of, or, as a last resort, fire the gunner from the team if he cannot do his job properly. So regardless of the reason the gunner failed, it is the leader's fault. A leader is responsible for everything a person on his or her team does. I even felt like this when one of my guys would get in trouble off base. If one of the SEALs who worked for me went out into town and drank too much and got in a fight, I always thought, where did I mess up? How did I fail to make that individual realize the consequences of his actions? Why didn't I know he was headed for trouble and keep him from going out? Taking extreme ownership means that leaders are responsible for every action the people on their team make. It's as simple as that. There are some things that occur that are beyond the control of the leader, but they are far fewer than most people think. One great example is that of the weather. Everyone knows we can't control the weather, so if a mission has to be canceled because the weather is too bad for the helicopters to fly the assault team to the target, that obviously can't be the leader's fault. After all, the leader can't control the weather. Wrong. While the leader can't control the weather, he can certainly put in contingency plans in place in case there is bad weather. There could have been a backup plan using ground vehicles to get to the target. My bad, I'm sorry. The leader could have forward staged closer to the target so the helicopters weren't required. He could have even come up with a contingency timeline that kept all assets available if the weather turned bad, so the mission could be delayed rather than canceled. So while the leader can't control the weather, he can certainly plan to deal with it. This means there are no buts to taking extreme ownership. It applies to everything. And the moment a leader decides he is going to allow excuses, it opens up the door to shift blame onto others. That leads to failures. Maybe I might have channeled my inner Jocko there for a second. And once again, I hit the stupid fucking thing. So, that was the light I just turned off there. My hands are sweating a lot now because I just read something. I don't know why it happens that way, but whenever I read something, I just get really sweaty. So, anyway, that's the book I'm reading right now. Let's reflect on that a little bit, shall we? Let me take a drink first. Now, the only person I remember taking extreme ownership in band, wow, that was my stomach, was actually the main director person themselves. Not once any of the drumline people did I see take extreme ownership. I don't know why. Not even like the main guy who they brought in because he was the guy for Arizona, right? Not even that guy. I feel like if I can demonstrate extreme ownership the way that I have on film sets, because I'm not going in blind being like, oh yeah, I read a book and that means I'm cool. It's more just like a reminder and a keep you in check type thing book, which I really appreciate. It's like the idea of having an intruder in your house. Think about this. Say you walk into your kitchen, it's like 10 p.m. You just walk down, you need a drink of water, and there's an intruder with like a sickle. That's going to be scary. That's going to be alarming. You're not ready for that. Now imagine is before you went down, some guy just like, hey, by the way, there's a guy in your kitchen with a sickle. He wants to kill you. And now you're still equally as scared and not ready for it. Actually, you are ready for it. But this time, just imagine how much more that would help you in that situation if you were told that. It's the same idea. It's now January 12th, not January 11th, but I don't know how that's going to help me. That is the Jocko Underground podcast. No, it's not. That is the Time Capsule podcast for today. Oh my gosh, we made it to the end. We made it to the end, guys. If you're listening to this entire solo episode, this was a better one. I would listen to this again personally if it meant I didn't have to listen to myself. Ooh, burn. It is Thursday, January 12th now, not Wednesday, January 11th. Midnight. 6:12 seconds. I'm stalling at this point. I want to make it to 100 measures at 5 BPM on Logic, but I don't know if I care enough to do that. So that is the podcast. Hopefully the next one will be with Mark, and we'll get to talk about this topic a little bit more. On the off chance that it doesn't, I'll see you again for another solo episode. I love you. I love you so much. No, I don't. I actually hate you. If I'm listening to this back, and it's me I'm talking to, I'd like to tell you, Ben, I think this is pretty good. I want to know what you think now. I hope you think it sucks, because that means I would have improved a lot. So, on that note, I can never say goodbye, so I'm just going to end it